All right, welcome back to the Commanders Declassified Podcast, your home for all things Washington Commanders. Eric, how you doing, man?
I am excited about tonight. How are you guys doing?
Tremendous. Brian, how's it going?
It's going real good. We got a real one tonight, man.
Oh, don't you know it? We're going to talk running backs tonight. Y'all know it's my favorite position. I'm going to go ahead and bring our guy, Jay Will, in here. You know him from the Washington Commanders. Jay Will, what's up, man?
How y'all doing?
Man, everything is lovely. Everything. Are you still local or did you go back home?
Yeah, I'm back home in Dallas.
Right on, man.
I know that's a bad spot to say on here with the fans that we have, but
hey man, you're more qualified to be a Cowboys fan than most of the Cowboys fans around here. You've actually been to Dallas.
Say it again.
You're more qualified to be a Cowboys fan than most of them around here because you've actually been to Dallas.
And I'm not a Cowboys fan though. Even though I'm from Dallas, I'm more of a fan that I like certain players. I grew up liking certain players and rooting for certain guys that I connected with or that I like their game. So I've never had a favorite team per se, but yeah.
Who were your players?
Growing up, I liked Marshall Faulk. I liked Arian Foster. I liked Priest Holmes.
Yeah, that's a good
I liked
one.
Priest Holmes a lot when he was with the Chiefs. I liked Brian Westbrook. A lot. I mean, running backs mainly, but I just like watching different guys and seeing the differences in their games and how they, help their teams win. And, just different aspects of their games. I try to pick, nitpick from certain guys and try to add it to my game. So,
yeah, you're a student.
Reggie Bush definitely had to be one of my all-time favorites for sure. Definitely USC Reggie Bush.
One of the greatest college players ever to do it, Reggie Bush.
No doubt.
There. Yeah. Hey, so season's over, obviously. Have you had a chance to look back at the season and kind of think about, how it went for you and, how you finished off? How'd you feel about the season?
I felt good about it. The locker room is a great locker room, a tight-knit locker room, one of the best that I've been in. Fortunately and unfortunately, I've been in a lot of locker rooms, so I'm blessed, even though it's been a long road. But it was definitely one of the best locker rooms I've been in, for sure. All the guys love each other, no matter if you're an offensive lineman or a D lineman or a defensive back and a tight end. Everybody gelled well with each other. So we had a great time playing with each other, and we have a great locker room. We got the great guys on the football team. I mean, y'all know we got great receivers, great running backs, great DBs. Defense played lights out this year, so we got a lot of talent in that locker room.
Yeah, I think everybody's looking forward to what the future holds and the things that this team can do. There's certain things that I think the team has expressed they want to get shored up, quarterback position, various other positions on the team. But, speaking of that locker room, I think from a fan perspective, when we're watching games like, hey, give Jay Will more carries or give AG more carries or give B-Rob more carries. Yeah. Do you guys see it that way as a running back room, or is it kind of one for all in there?
One for all is meaning?
Like everybody, it doesn't matter who gets the ball as long as the running game's working.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, that running back room is as close as it can be. And I'm not just saying that just to say that. Everybody's going to say that, and everybody's going to try to be politically correct. But we really are close in that locker in that running back room. Those are some of my best friends, honestly. I mean, me and AG, we hang out outside of there. We go to the gun range and shooting range. Me and B-Rob, we talk all the time. I go to his house, and, definitely whenever he went through his situation, I was over there a lot, trying to just be there for him and help him be somebody that, could be there for him, because sometimes which he did a great job of. Sometimes when you go through stuff like that and it's not mandatory for you to be in the locker room, you're alone. You kind of start veering off a little bit, and, you kind of start losing sight of the goal. So I just wanted to be there for him, to be able to remind him, this setback is really going to be a testament to how great you really are, so just being able to hang out with him. JD is one of the funniest people you'll ever meet. JD McKissick is a guy that walks in any room and he lights up the whole room, so everybody in that running back room, there was no selfishness in that running back room. Nobody cared about who was going to get the carry or, oh, I'm not getting carries. Now, we're definitely competitive too, and that's why we were able to make it to that level, because everybody in that room thinks that they can be the guy that can go score 70 yards, or, everybody wants the ball, but nobody's upset about anybody else getting the ball, so I think that's what makes our room so special. That's why I think that we were able to be successful because we push each other. If somebody's messing up or if anybody sees something that someone else can do better, they'll tell it to that person, but that person takes it with, the utmost respect. Nobody's like, oh, he's trying to tell me what to do or he's hating on me and all. Everybody knows that anybody that says something to someone else is coming from love. JP is another guy that he supported everybody in the room the entire year, even though he was on practice squad. And he's somebody that the way that he works, he definitely wants to be on the football field. He didn't have the opportunity until the last game, but he supported everybody the entire year. So that's the running back room that the reason why we were so good was because we love each other and we care for each other and we support each other. So, obviously as a running back, we want to run the ball 40 times a game, which is unrealistic, but nobody really cares who gets the ball in that running back room. Everybody supports each other.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Wants to run the ball 40 times a game too, I promise you.
Hey, let's do it.
Hey, Jay Will, one of the things that has always impressed me about you is that whether you get a carry, to start the game, which you got a carry to start the game, or whether you get a carry in the third quarter, you're always focused. You're always ready to go. Like, can you talk about like how you're able to stay ready? Because sometimes, that's a lot of focus. You may be on the sideline for, a couple of series and then boom, now you're in for like 6-7 plays. And how do you keep yourself ready? Because every time you came in, it was like, bam, 5 yards, 10 yards. Like how are you able to do that?
I mean, it starts in the off season. Every off season, my regimen is if I'm going to be the starter and I'm going to play every down of the season. And even if that's not the reality, that's the way that I train because that's what I believe that I can do. And like I said, we're in that running back room. We all love each other and we all want each other to succeed. So whether that's my reality or not, I'm not upset about, if that isn't the reality. But I know that for me, I wouldn't feel comfortable if I didn't prepare that way. And whenever you prepare that way, it gives you the confidence that where whenever someone calls your number, you're like, oh, well, it's time to go show what I've been doing since April, or since March, So it's really the preparation before the game, and the mindset that you go into in the game, it's whatever my number is being called, I want to help this team win the game. And so mentally, you just have to be dialed in. And I went into every game mentally dialed in, whether it was going to be special teams, whether it was going to be a third down and I had to block and pass pro, whether I had to run a route, whether it was 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1 and I had to get 1 yard. I knew the situation that I was in or, the situation we were in during the game. And I did the best that I could do to help the team win the game. So, like I said, it's a testament to the training. It's
right.
Stuff that you do before you get out on the football field that prepares you to be able to play that way during the football field or when you're on the football field.
That's awesome. So after a long season, like, do you take time off to like rest, let your body heal back up before you start training again? Or are you just, full go like, hey, I'm going to get right back to it?
A little bit of in between. I was a rookie in 2016 and some of the guys that was around there then was telling me to, go ahead and take time off. Don't really start working out until definitely after the Super Bowl or, wait till March and then you start training. And I did that the first year. And even being a young 22-year-old, 23-year-old, just getting out of shape and then trying to get back in shape is a long road,
Right.
And I think that's what separates the guys who, no matter where you get drafted, if it's a 1st-round draft pick or a 6th-round draft pick like Tom Brady, it's about the guys who are disciplined enough to continue to work and get better, throughout the offseason, because those off seasons are very important because it's different than high school and college, right? So when you're in college, the season's over and it's mandatory for you to go work out.
Right.
You got early morning workouts that the strength coaches make you go to and, all this stuff that's mandatory for you to do. Whenever you're a professional, during this time, I don't have to do anything unless I want to go do something, unless I tell myself to go do it. So, that's how you have a long career. It's the guys that can hold themselves accountable and create their own regimen to where, in their minds are like, okay, this is what I need to do to be able to be successful for next year and continue to play longer and have longevity. So for me, I really don't take time off. I don't go real hard from the beginning. but I don't want to sit around and do nothing, because you got to still move. You got to still go stretch. You got to go do a little cardio. You got to sweat. You got to move around so that your body is still ready to work. And you're priming your body really to start the hard stuff, to start the training. But you don't want to just go out and go home and sit around and watch TV and eat ice cream and get fat and then say, oh, okay, I'm about to go get in shape. That's going to be a long, long road. So
you sound like you just described my workout, the eating the ice cream.
I was going to say, that's exactly what I want
to do some curls.
Like with beer. Yeah, that's the curls.
Right.
Yeah, I was actually had a question kind of around the training aspect of it. A lot of fans, not our fans because they're very sophisticated, our listeners, but a lot of people I think still have the kind of the mindset of like when they played high school football where you practice 2 hours a day and then you go play on Sunday. Can you give us an idea of like what a regular day for you during the regular season would look like? Just a standard practice day, like a Wednesday or Thursday. What did that entail for you as far as like, how the day went? You don't have to go into great detail, but how many hours you put in, that kind of stuff.
So Wednesday is our biggest day. Wednesday, Thursdays, those are our biggest days. For us in our running back room, our coach, he had us come in 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, which is a little earlier than we're supposed to be in. The normal time is you come in at 8. We have a team meeting at 8, but we would come in as a running back room and come in at 7. We would watch film, and Coach Jordan had a couple different cut ups and stuff that he wanted to go over, that he wanted to make sure that we got in before the actual time started, because he's just such a and sometimes you're tired, you're like, oh, why we got to come in that early, but it pays off. It might be a certain blitz that we need to look at, or a certain just different things depending on the week that we would come in. So Wednesday, Thursday, we would come in early and we would do that. We would have a team meeting at 8. There was about 10 or 15 minutes. It's pretty much just Coach Rivera addressing the team. You go into special teams, and so you have meetings up until probably about 10 o'clock. And then we get out there for practice, or we're probably around 10:15, 10:30. We get out there for practice around 11. Practice for about Wednesday is the longest practice of the week, about a 2-hour practice. We get done with that, and you go get in your tubs and you start doing the recovery to be able to prepare for not only Wednesday, or not only Thursday, but for Sunday as well. Get some lunch, and then we meet again. And so then you go watch what you did at practice, and so then you make the adjustments for if different small things that you need to adjust for Sunday. And so we're out of the locker room we're out of the building probably around 4:30 or 5 o'clock. So it's about an 8 to 5:30 window for Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday is a shorter day. So Friday is the same from the beginning, but then after practice we're done. So we don't meet after practice on Friday, and that's just to give guys opportunity to go get massages and do whatever you need to do to try to get ready for Friday or for Sunday. I'm sorry. Saturday is just a walkthrough, so it's more of a mental days where you get dialed in. Substitutions for special teams and stuff like that. It's a walkthrough. You kind of go through the first 15 plays that we're going to run, throughout that game on Sunday. And then later we go to the hotel, watch a little bit of film, just some small detailed stuff that we want to cover before the Sunday game. And then Sunday it's time to go ball out. It's time to go get that W.
So after the game is over with, how long does it take for the adrenaline to wear out before your body starts feeling what you just went through in a game when you got 10 to 15 carries? How soon does that happen?
Man, I'm up all night. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm a weird. I love football too. I need to say that. Start off with that. Preface that I'm a Texas guy that I grew up loving football. So I can't go to sleep until I watch the whole game. I don't like to go. Even throughout the week, I don't like to go into a meeting without knowing what I did or what happened, or knowing what the coach is going to say to me, because I already know the game, so I want to watch the film and say, oh, okay, they're going to tell me this, or okay, that was a good play. I did that because, so for me, after the game, my adrenaline is already up. We just played a game, and it's a competitive sport. And then I got to watch the film, and then I got to watch it again. I just, so, I mean, for me, I'm gonna be up all night. I might go to sleep 2 or 3 in the morning. The next day is a lighter day. Obviously, we go in there and work out and we go watch the film, so it's not a real taxing day. But for me, I'm up all night after the game.
I want you to settle something for us. We've been arguing about this for a while. Who decides the running back rotation? Is it just, so when you get in versus when AG gets in versus B-Rob, is that the offensive coordinator? Is that the running backs coach? Who makes that decision?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's a combination of throughout the week, we have certain plays or certain personnels that they want certain guys in.
Okay.
Because of the look and because of the down and distance. And then during the game, it's the running back coach. It's Coach Jordan's job to feel, if a guy's tired or if he thinks that, what he's seen throughout practice. Oh, I like how he runs this play. He might throw a guy in. So it just depends on the down and distance. It depends on a lot of things, so you can't really go into a game and say, okay, I want Brian to get 18 carries and I want AG to get 12 carries or 18 whatever. You can't go in there and say that you want a certain guy to get certain carries because you don't know how the game is going to play out. So it might be certain situations that keep coming up, and that's why one guy is still in because that's his role, that's his situation that's up. So I think that's the toughest thing whenever you have guys that are competitive in our room. And then you want everybody to get carries. You want everybody to be on the field, but you don't know how the game is going to play out. And certain situations call for certain skill sets that, somebody might, AG might get 28 carries and B-Rob might get 11 carries or, you never know just because of the situation that the game is in. So it all depends on how the game is playing or, how it's being played out and how it's going. So that's a tough tough situation.
Yeah. So speaking
I don't know
of
if that makes
Coach,
sense or if I'm making sense.
no,
It does. It does.
perfect.
Absolutely.
So you brought up Coach Jordan. I'm curious about him. He's managed to stick around through several different regimes here in DC. Is there anything about him that's different from other running back coaches, or what do you think his secret to longevity is just at this one job? Because every coach he works with seems to want to keep him around.
I mean, he has God on his side. He's a Christian man. He definitely is somebody that when you talk to him, you love him. You love him. You feel the vibe from him. You feel the energy from him. He comes to work every day. Like I said, he has us in there an hour early than we're supposed to be. So he's going to make sure that his guys are prepared. And I think everybody sees that. No matter what coach it is that he's coaching for, I think that they see that he's the guy that's going to have his guys prepared. They're going to know what to do. They're going to know the blitzes. They're going to know the down and distance and the situation. And then he gets the best out of his guys because of the type of personality that he has. So I think he's just a guy that has God on his side and everybody sees it.
What about the Coach Jordan's assistant running back coach, Coach King? Is there anything you can tell us about her? Because from everything that we hear, she's been doing an awesome job. What can you tell us about her?
Man, great. She really is great. I mean, I know people might think that it's a publicity thing or, I don't know what people think, but, it's just, I know she's a woman coaching a man's sport in a man's league, but she definitely knows the ins and outs of the game. She knows she helps us out a lot, definitely in the pass game. She was once a quarterback in the league that she played in, so she understands routes. She understands, mismatches and depth of routes and what to look for and what to aim for and the details of the routes. And she knows football, and she's not somebody that's going to come up to you and try to cuss you out and say, oh, you got to do this. It's more of a knowledge thing. She can tell you, oh, okay, maybe you need to look at, this is what you did. This, so she knows how to coach, and she knows the game. And so she's definitely an asset in that running back room for sure. She's definitely somebody that helps that running back room continue to grow and continue to get better. So I definitely appreciate her.
That's awesome.
And she's going to have her own running back room soon, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
That'd be great. That'd be awesome.
And she's also somebody that, I mean, as a man, you still respect in that arena. I know it's a man's game and it's, it's a man's, we're in a locker room full of men and, all that, but she's really someone that when we go out on the football field, it's not like, oh, this is a woman telling me what to do, or this is, a girl telling me what, it's not like that. She knows football and you respect what she says because it's coming from a place of knowledge, you know. So we all respect her in that running back room. In the whole building, everybody respects her. So she's definitely doing a great job.
No, that's good to hear because you can't get that kind of respect unless you really know what you're talking about.
No doubt, no doubt.
That's awesome to hear. So one of the things that we talked about a lot was the various levels of involvement of the running backs in the passing game throughout the season. It fluctuated a lot. Some games your running backs would get a lot of targets, some games they wouldn't. Is that just primarily, like you said earlier, based on number one, what the defense is giving you in terms of opportunity to execute that, but also planning going into the week that your coordinators and your coaches saw something on film that says, hey, we probably don't want to pass the ball to running backs that much this game because our receivers are going to be open a lot this game or something like that?
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. You know, I think that, it depends on the game. It depends on the play. It depends on what the quarterback sees. Me being biased, I feel like they should throw us the ball every play. Every time we line up, hey, we're open. You know, that's what we joke about in our room all the time, or even on the practice field. Like, hey, you know, Carson, Taylor, you know, don't forget about us. We open. You know, I mean, if it's not wide open down there, you got us on the check down. But it just depends, you know, on the play and the situation. But you know, being selfish, everybody never, like I said, in the running back room, we aren't selfish individually, but we're selfish as a group, you know. So we think that we should always get the ball every play, you know. So, but yeah, like you said, it just depends on the situation and the game plan and the scheme. A lot of the time, it's check downs, you know. So we might not be the main read, but if something's not open, you know, there's a mismatch because I don't think any you know legitimate running back shouldn't be able to be covered. And I might be biased because I'm a running back, but any running back shouldn't be covered by a linebacker. I mean, that's a mismatch every day, every down. So we just try to throw them out some reminders like, hey, you know, if Terry's not wide open, you got me out in the flats, you know. Don't forget about me.
That's funny. The quarterback situation, I don't want to get into the quarterback situation necessarily, but as a running back,
I do.
How much how much does it matter for you as a running back who's playing quarterback? We had Carson, we had Taylor, we even saw Howell the last game that you were in there. How much does that make a difference in terms of, like, you know, your effectiveness in the game and your approach to the game?
As an approach, it doesn't change my approach. You know, every week, and I think I can speak for everybody in the running back room. We approach it the same way every week. You know, whenever my number is called, I'm gonna make the best out of whatever play I get. As far as how the game goes, that's more of what the defenses can tell you because you know you just never know how the defense is gonna play a quarterback depending on who it is. You know, so with Taylor, it was different because he's a little bit more mobile than Carson is, as far as you know agility and moving out of the pocket and running and scrambling. And so even in the run game and the RPO game. Yeah, I don't know. You know, I would guess the teams are more threatened by him being able to pull it and run it. You know, but that's something that you don't know until the game. You don't know how the defense is going to respect it. But that's a way that it could be different. You know, in the run game. You know, just you know, Sam. People never really saw Sam play until the last game, but he's somebody that can pull the ball and run and take off, and he can make plays with his feet. So it'll be interesting to see how defenses play him next year because you know that's another threat. You know, so the biggest thing is seeing how the defense is going to play somebody who they view as a run threat or who they don't view as a run threat. And you never know who's going to view who what way, you know, because everybody has a different coordinator. Everybody has a different relationship with a player. You know, maybe somebody saw Carson play or played against Carson as a D coordinator and feels like he's a threat to run the ball, you know, so you never know what the defensive coordinator is going to tell his defense leading up into that week. But a mobile quarterback versus an immobile quarterback is definitely a big difference because they definitely have to run game out more. You know, somebody like Lamar is somebody who is, you know, he's going to have to run game out a lot because he's a threat to run the ball, you know. So I think that's really the biggest thing.
Okay.
You guys played Dallas the last game of the season. You guys won. You know, Dallas is always very full of themselves, and so are their fans. For you guys, when you win a game against a division rival, Does that do you guys take a little bit more satisfaction in that, or is it kind of just another day at the office type thing for you guys?
It's definitely not just another day. I think it's a little different than the fan base. It's not as emotional
Right.
but it's definitely a bigger game because it's a divisional game, and everybody's mindset is to make it to the playoffs. And the way that you make it there is to win your division and to beat your divisional opponent. So it's definitely a game that, you have a little extra during that week because you know how important the game is. But I don't think it's as emotional for us as it is for the fans in that way. But it's definitely just as big, we definitely care about it because that's a division game, and that's what ultimately matters to get to that next level, to get to that playoff spot. So it's definitely a different week than the other weeks.
I got you. I want to ask you about the quarterbacks. I'll let Eric do that. But this is maybe a little unrelated to you. But what type of person is Coach Matsko? I don't know if he's ever done an interview while he's been in Washington, so I don't even know if he has a voice or not. What kind of coach is he?
No, he's a tough coach, and I think anybody in the locker room would say the same. He's somebody that I love a lot. He's somebody that is definitely going to hold you accountable. He's going to push you. He knows football. He's been around for a long time. He's respected. Personally, I love him. I love his mentality. I love his personality. But he's definitely a tough guy. He's a tough guy for sure, and
awesome.
he's gonna push his guys to be the best that they can be.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, we've been tap dancing around it long enough. What do you think of Sam as a quarterback? Ellie hates him. Brian loves him to the point where it's a little scary, and I'm trying to keep it medium. I might be lying about that. If Sam Howell is the starter going into next season, what do you think the team's confidence level is going to be in that with that?
I think it's going to be huge. I mean, Sam is definitely a guy, and it's hard for me to say how good he can be because he only got to play one game, and practice is still not the game. So you see how well he does in practice, and it still doesn't mean, the game is different. This game is a different game. But he's a guy that has all the tools. And the number one tool that he has is his person, who he is. He's Sam Howell. And he believes that, and he has that confidence. He walks around in the locker room with that confidence and that swagger. And guys believe in him, and guys like him, and that's part of how Taylor was. Guys like Taylor because of who he was and his personality and, the way that he connected with people. And Sam has that same connection. Sam has that same type of swag to where he walks in and dudes like, man, I like Sam. He a baller. And he has no fear, even in the huddle. He's not out there nervous or like, I hope I don't. He's like, man, I'm going to go make it happen. And when he has that confidence, rolls out to the rest of the team. And so I think he's a guy that can do it. I think that he believes in himself, and that's the beginning of it. When you believe in yourself, guys see that you believe in yourself, and so then they believe in you, and then they believe in the team, and they believe in what you're going to do. So, no, I think he definitely can do it. I think he has all the tools athletically. He has a strong arm. He can run. He can move. He's good with on his feet and make plays, and he can get out of bad situations. And then most importantly, mentally, between the ears and his mind, he believes that he's the best, and he's a smart guy. So. I think Sam is going to be a great player.
It's great to hear that.
Love it.
Hey,
Love it.
I got two questions and we'll get you out of here. I want you to rank these 4 running backs for me. Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, LaDainian Tomlinson, and Adrian Peterson.
Man, that's tough. I played with AP in Detroit.
Yep.
So that makes it a little tougher to rank.
And he's from Dallas, so
and he's from Texas. He's from
Texas,
yeah. But LaDainian's from Texas too, so that's a tough one. And this is just my ranking, so I hope I don't offend anybody. But for me, I have to put Barry 1.
Yes.
Yep. I have to put Barry 1. Like I said, my own personal, what I like as a running back, I would put LaDainian 2.
Okay.
I would put AP 3. And then who was the 4th?
Emmitt Smith.
Yeah,
I would have to, I'm sorry, Emmett. I got to put Emmett 4, even though I know he's all-time leading rusher. I would have to put Emmett 4.
That's where he belongs. Thank you. Thank you.
Should have put him at 6. Yeah, even though there was only 4 choices.
Yeah, I know it's a big off season for you. Are you coming back with us, man? Next year, you going to be on the squad with the Commanders, or what's happening?
I would love to, man. I love Washington. I really do. I love the fan base. I love the city. My wife loved it. She enjoyed it. She loved the whole atmosphere of the team. I think Coach Rivera did a great job in making the team feel like a family, truly, you know, and not only just the players, but the wives and the families, you know, everybody. And people might not realize how big that is, but that's a huge thing, though, you know, and because it's not just about the football field. It's about what happens after you leave the football field and how you feel so that you can go into the next day ready to, you know, play. So whenever the wives and the kids feel like that's home, it helps the athlete as well. So I think Coach Rivera did a great job in making that place feel like a family. And so I love it there, man. I hope that I'm able to return. I'm excited for next year. Like I said, I think Sam is going to be a great quarterback, or, you know, I don't know. I'm not the GM and the head coach, so I don't know what's going to happen, but I know if Sam gets that role, he's going to be more than ready. And I'm excited.
Man, we appreciate it. Oh, we can't forget to shout out J.R. Carroll and Amy Carroll as well.
My God.
Yes.
Yep. Thank you.
Shout out to both of them. And Jay Will, thanks for kicking it with us, man. We look forward to watching you. Hopefully it's in a Commander's uniform, but if not, you know, wherever you go, we'll keep an eye on your career, man. Good luck.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the support throughout the last couple of years. And I'm glad that I was able to mingle with y'all and talk with y'all on here. And I wish y'all nothing but the best as well.
Come back anytime.
Yeah, thank you.
You're always welcome. We could use a 4th.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I might just be a regular. Let's
make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
See you, man.
Yeah, have a good